Hi, I'm going to show you how to crochet a ball. I've gone for a big wool and a big crochet hook to try and make it easier to see the stitches. This is a nice easy pattern to do. You just need to increase and decrease consistently to make the shape. You can use this technique to make different shapes depending on how you want to increase, decrease, the rows in between the increase and the decrease. So it is quite useful to know this one. So I have started. Started with a magic ring, started with 6 stitches, and then I've increased into each stitch to make 12 stitches. Now the next row on this one is to create 18 stitches, which means you can do this either way round. It doesn't matter as long as you're consistent with your method. So you either start with a single or start with an increase. I usually start with a single, so to make 18, so we start with 1. I'm going to put a stitch marker in. So I always put it in the first stitch. You can put it in the last stitch if you row. It's up to you how you want to do it. And then increase. So if you count as you go along, to make 18 we need to, every third stitch is the increase. Depending if you're starting my way. If you start the other way, your second stitch is your increase. So that was 1 stitch, that's 2. So 3 is now the increase. So we go in there. So then we have 4, 5, and then 6 is the increase. 7, single, 8, and then 9 is the increase. So you're going 2 into 1. Each increase is 2 into 1. 10, 11, now 12 is the increase, so we're doing 2 into 1. 13, 14, 15 is the increase. 16, oops, 17, and then 18 is the increase. I'll split my wall there, so just go back to 16, redo 16, 16, 17, and again 18 is the increase. So that's increases on multiples of 3. So that should give us 18 stitches. And it does, because there's my stitch marker and there's my 18th stitch. So now the next row we need to increase on multiples of 4 because we want to go to 24 stitches. So as I said, you can either start with the increase or start with the singles. I will start with the singles. So 1, move my stitch marker, 2, 3, and then 4 is the increase. Did I say 2? Yeah, 1. Yeah. So 4 is the increase. Sorry for the pause then, I was just double checking. So 4 is the increase, so there you go. There's the 4 in there. And then we go 5, 6, 7, and then 8 is the increase. So we go into the same one as 7. 9, 10, 11, and then 12 is the increase. 13, 14, 15, and 16 is the increase. 17, 18, 19, and 20 is the increase. So we're evenly increasing on multiples of 4 this row. Each row goes up. 21, 22, 23, and then 24 is the increase. And because 8 puts us back at the start. So if you count as you go and do equal increases, you should have the correct stitches by the time you hit. So then the next row we need to get 30 stitches. So that's every 5th stitch is the increase. It looks flat at the moment, but when we stop doing the increases and start doing the plain rows, the shape starts to form. So here we go for the multiples of 5. So we've got 1, move stitch marker, 2, 3, 4, and then the increase is 5, 6, oops, yep, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, and cut myself out then. Forgot me increase because 10's me increase. So back onto 9. That's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is the increase. So back into 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 is the increase, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 is the increase this time. So we go into 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, and then 30 is the increase. So there you go. So that's it when we are taking shape. So the next row on is we need 36 stitches. Now that in this particular pattern, this is the last increase row. But if you want to make the ball bigger, just keep increasing in the same format. So this is every 6 stitches, and the next one will be every 7 stitches, and so on. So if we just do this one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the increase, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is the increase, so back into 11, 13, 14, 14, oops, split the wall again, there we go, that's 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 is the increase, so back into 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, back into 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 is the increase, so again back into 30, 29, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and then the final increase is 36, so we go back into 35. So that's as much as I'm increasing to create this circle. So now I have to do 7 rounds at 36 stitches. So you don't have to watch that. I will go away and do those 7 rounds and come back. Okay, so I've now done the 7 rounds with no increase, and as you can see, we have gone from flat shape to 3D shape. So those non-increase rows will bring it in. So if you've never done a ball before and you're like following the pattern thinking this is flat, it's not working, wait till you get to the non-increase section and it pulls it together. So this one just has 7 rows on it, and it's, as you can see, we have part of the ball. So we've gone from that flat shape to 3D. So keep going at it. If you've never done a ball before, it's the non-increased rows that generally pull it into shape. Now if you don't want to do a ball, you want to elongate it, you can just continue to do non-increased rounds for as long as you need to, and then you can start the decrease. Now I know there are 2 different ways of increasing in this stitch, but I just do the one where you skip to the next one. So we're now going down to 30 stitches from 36, so the decrease is every 5 stitches. So this again can be done the same as the increase. You can start with the decrease and then count your 5, and then do your decrease, but I usually start with the single, count my 5, and my 5 is the decrease. So, and I do the skip because I know there is a decrease where you actually go through and do that and then do the next one and then do it. So okay, so that's the start of a round. Oh, and this pattern you don't finish the rounds off, it's just continuous. So that's 1, oops, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 to decrease. And now I know there's 2 ways of decreasing. You can go in, and pull those 2 and finish like that, which does a nicer finish. Or you can do the decrease, pull it out, where you just skip that and go straight on. So you're missing one and going straight on. For the ease of the video, I'm just going to do the skip version. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we decrease is 10, skip 1, 10, 11, 12, 13, oops, 14, decrease 15, 16, 17, 18, oops, we do 18, 18, 19, 20 is my decrease, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 my decrease, 26, 27, 28, 29 and 30 is my decrease. Okay, so now we're going to go down to 24 stitches, which means the fourth is the decrease. So start again. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the decrease, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the decrease, 9, 10, 11, 12 is the decrease, 13, 14, 15, 16 is the decrease, 17, 18, 19 and 20 is the decrease, 21, 22, 23 and 24 is the decrease. Okay. Now we're going down to 18 stitches, which means the decrease is every 3. And we could start stuffing at this point, because you will get to the point where the hole gets too small if you don't start putting some stuffing in soon. So I'll do this row and then I'll get the stuffing and put some stuffing in. So 1, 2, 3, decrease, 4, 5, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 is the decrease, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is the decrease, 13, 14, 15 is the decrease, 16, 17, and the final decrease is 18. So, right, start putting some stuffing in now. Okay. Take the hook out. Now you can really see the shape now taking form with those few decreased rows. You can really see the ball shape taking form now. Okay, so the next round we're going down to 2. Decrease can go down quite quickly. So we're going down to 12 stitches now, so the decrease is every 2. And then we just keep going down until we've got no space left. One. It does get a bit fiddly and awkward as you get down. That's 1, so decrease 2, 2, 3. So it's literally every other stitch now is the decrease. Can't remember what I just did there. That was the decrease. That's okay. Yep, that was the decrease. So it's just every other stitch. It's decrease, and yes, it is quite fiddly. As you can see, I am finding it a little bit fiddly. Now, okay. Hence no counting because I'm concentrating. So, and it's every other stitch we're decreasing on. Oops. Okay, last decrease. I think I'm on the last decrease yet. Okay. Right. So now we're on every stitch is a decrease. So every stitch is now a decrease. There we go. So now what you can do is finish it off. I'm not going to, and then thread your wool round and pull it tight to finish it off. But that is how to make a ball. So there you go. As I say, you can use this technique to make different shapes using a ball. You don't even have to do the decrease. If you want to make it like a snout for a teddy bear or a different animal, you can just work down to there. And there's that. I hope maybe just bring it in a bit with a couple of decrease rows. You can elongate it. You can, if you do your increases in different places, it doesn't become a ball. So you have to keep your increases and your decreases regular, as we're counting increments of going up and down exactly the same to make the ball even. There you go. I hope you found that interesting and enjoyed watching that. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.